Hello everybody, so today we are going to be talking about opening day at Alton Towers. This is my first ever opening day when I was actually there. I did this video last year when I wasn't there. I was literally laid down playing The Sims and just watching queue times and just getting any updates that I could. But this year I was there. So let's start. I'm going to try and do this in sort of order of what I saw myself, and obviously like the general stuff that's happened this year, because it isn't great. Opening day was sort of not it. The vibe was definitely there. There was an atmosphere. People were so happy. People were running. There was so much excitement in the air. It was like, oh my god, we're getting back in there, and I was ecstatic. Obviously this winter, and I don't know why, but this winter has felt so long. It's felt like an eternity. So to step back, even to drive into that entrance, like obviously I went at Christmas, but that was absolutely like, that was just trying to fill a hole because of how much I missed it. I remember looking at my countdown, knowing that I was going, looking at that, it said like 90 days, and I was like, come on, I need this. So finally the day had come, we'd gone through the entrance. I looked to my right, I could see the corkscrew and how it looked amazing in yellow. I love that. That yellow corkscrew is just so amazing. Like with the purple, I felt like it blended in so much with all the other purple. So to have it back to its also original state was amazing. So we had a bit of news before the day actually started with the staggered openings. I wasn't actually made aware of the staggered openings. I feel like I stayed a bit offline because I was trying to get like some sleep. I was trying not to get overexcited. Like I just needed to get that sleep because I was at work the day before, so I finished at 11 p.m. So with these staggered openings, it's Rita, Galactica and Smiler that are all staggered. So Galactica and the Smiler open at 10:30 and Rita opens at 11 a.m. The whole of David Williams at 11 a.m. that all opens. But because Alton Towers is the way it is, like most of the places that are there, so like you've got Nemesis and Galactica, so everyone's going to be piling onto Nemesis because Galactica hasn't opened yet. In X Sector, everyone will be piling onto Oblivion. It's just going to make the queue so much more longer. I just feel like they should have never have done that. It just needs everyone to be spread out, because that means like nearly the entire section is closed. So that was really not a good sign from Alton Towers, like people waking up with that information, because it did mean that like Nemesis had a really long queue to start the day off, and so did 13. It's just because these areas only have 2 attractions in them anyway, especially like X Sector. The Smiler is their main coaster where everyone wants to go, so that's already going to have a pre-queue before we even start. Like everyone's going to be piling onto there, and it's not even going to open until 10:30. So I feel like that was a really bad thing. And of course we had no monorail. There was another thing, I don't know what I was doing, like I was just not around the community. I feel like I had no idea about these bus replacements, so we just thought the monorail was down and we just had to walk. But I'm sort of glad that we did, because we were quite close to the entrance, because they built up a massive line because everyone of course wanted to get in, which obviously so did I. So we had to walk all that way. The monorail starts at 9:30 and not 9 anymore, so we do the long walk, and then there's a giant queue. You look to your right, everyone's just pushing in front. You know, we waited in this queue, everyone was pushing and pushing and pushing. We stood there for about 45 minutes, I would say, just waiting for us to get in. Everyone was already queuing for the security. We were just in like the held back bit because that bit was very long. Obviously security in that park, it takes a while, which obviously I respect. We do need security to check the bags and that, but it did take a bit of a while. And another thing with that, they are not opening the doors until 9:30. So now monorail opens at 9:30. So you're going to have everyone coming off the monorail, people who have walked. It's just, I just feel like they need to just have it at 9 again, because people being in that park with no rides open, what we're going to do, we could go and get a coffee, grab something to eat before we get there, like actually get into ride the rides. You're just going to make more money, and with the spending that is down at the moment, which we know it is, more money is what they need. I 100% I believe that on Tower Street they should have somewhere that is primarily just for getting breakfast, because breakfast is a massive thing that we always worry about. We're like, oh, what we're going to do for breakfast. We have been to Coffee Corner before and just grabbed like a sandwich from there just for breakfast. Obviously, we just go to McDonald's, but if you could actually grab something for breakfast on Tower Street, that'd just be so convenient and normal, and just, it just annoys me because that sort of thing to me just feels like it's obvious. But I digress from that. So yeah, we're waiting in this queue. I'm looking at the corkscrew. Everyone's walking around the corner going, oh my god, look at the corkscrew, it looks so good. It's all you heard. So then we hear this massive cheer. Everyone goes 3, 2, 1, and the gates open. They opened it 5 minutes early because they probably knew that everyone was getting annoyed with standing there, which would usually be in by then because it used to open at 9. So there was a massive run. You could just look up and just see everyone bolting it down. There were so many people everywhere. It felt really unorganised as well. Like, we knew it's opening day, everyone's going to be there, and everyone did turn up, to be honest. It was so busy. I just don't think they were ready for it, but that's absolutely fine. We got in the end. But the weirdest thing happened. So we got onto Tower Street, went to the toilet because I needed to go and we were waiting in that queue for so long. But we went into Tower Street. I believe it was like the manager stood there, like in this like really colourful blazer. I didn't know what he looked like because I knew that Bianca had left. I think it's the managing director. He was stood there. I didn't know who he was, else I might have said hello to him. But anyway, he was stood there. Let's see how he does this season, because so far, But anyway, he was stood there, and on both sides of Tower Street were these people in high vis, and they were saying hello to everyone. Oh my god, it was so awkward. Everyone in this situation was just awkward. And after we just experienced that, with all them issues and everything, and they were just in there going, hi, and like high-fiving people, trying to, I guess, bring up the mood. It's opening day, let's all have some fun. But it just seemed like, look at how proud we are of everything we've done, like the state of the park, oh my god. So yeah, we walked down, obviously it's that on either side. I'm trying to say hello to them because I felt bad because they were so awkward. I think they were the managers, like, you know, you can usually tell who the managers are there. They're not in the uniform, they're in their own thing. So I'm pretty sure they were the managers. It was just an awkward experience walking down there. I don't know why they did it, because obviously we're not all in the best of spirits, no monorail, and I'll get on to the other stuff of why we were sort of annoyed. So walking down there, saying hello to them all, and then in the middle, the frogs had been done to the Alton After Dark, and they looked so good. There was like a truss with lights on it. All these lights were all different rides. The frogs look amazing. They were also in high vis. I guess they were sort of matching with these people on the side. But yeah, so walking down there, we saw them, and we did get a coffee, but we did not go to Coffee Corner. Coffee Corner was insane. So we went over to the one in Forbidden Valley, had a quick drink there, and then we went on to Nemesis. Nemesis is obviously my favourite ride. I was so happy to get back on it. It took about 50 minutes to get on, but that was just foreshadowing what was to come, because that day was the busiest day I think I've ever seen at Towers. Like, obviously I knew it was going to be busy, and I knew it wasn't all going to be about the rides, but my goodness, we didn't get on. We only got on 3 rides. That was just because I did not want to wait up to 100 minutes for a ride. I've already been on. I know it was opening day, but we got our rides in. So a lot of the rides turned out to be 100 minutes and 70 minutes, like in between that sort of time. It was just so bad. And of course, we have to get on to the closures of each of the rides. So we had, of course, they've made the water rides now seasonal, which I do sort of understand because our weather here is really bad. Like, you don't want to be getting soaked in this sort of weather. It's freezing outside. Actually, opening day was quite good weather. It was still cold. It was when the sun came out, it actually warmed up. So that was quite good. I did enjoy the weather, but the the day was a bit questionable. So yeah, so they're just going to be opening them in May, and I could imagine they'll close in like August or September. Probably September they'll close again. So they are seasonal. But the saddest one that was closed, ride wise anyway, was the Runaway Mine Train. I love the Runaway Mine Train. Mine Train's one of the best rides that they have there. It's just so fun, shouting choo choo, having a good time. I feel like Mine Train on opening day would have had a really, really good atmosphere, because everyone would be so like happy and excited and everyone would go woo, but I'm afraid we didn't have that. But then I feel like the worst thing is the Sky Ride. No Sky Ride, and there's no date that they've given yet. This just feels like deja vu. They spent all that money, they spent millions restoring the Sky Ride for it not to open again this year. If you actually walk down to the Forbidden Valley bit, it's still got scaffolding on it. When we were actually waiting to get in, I looked to the left and you could see like the ride cars on it, like the Sky Ride cars. I don't know what you'd actually call them, but they were there just on the floor, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, that wasn't good. But the problem with all of this that I can see is what I realised myself. So Katanga Canyon is a absolute write-off. There is no rides in there, but because they're doing the maintenance still on the Congo River Rapids, the gate next to Wicker Man, which basically is the way to go if you want to cut out Katanga Canyon and all them hills. Really, I'm mad about the hills, I guess. But that is the way to go if you just want to go to Curse and Forbidden Valley from that side. So they've actually closed that gate, and they've got rapids in there. There is the rapids actual boats in there, so you cannot go down there. So you are forced, if you're coming from that way from Mutiny Bay, if you're going up to Katanga Canyon, you can't turn right into that bit. So you have to go all the way through a very closed Katanga Canyon. I mean, it's okay if you want to go to pizza and pasta, but do not go. I will get onto the food soon. So yeah, so you have to go that way. But I did find a little tiny bit of a hack. Do not go that way. Just do not go that way at all. Go through Haunted Hollow, because then you can go straight to Curse and then to Forbidden Valley, and there's no hills. Because as well, if we are really thinking about it, I mean, it's not laziness. There is people that actually can't walk around that park. I was finding it so hard. We did 8 miles that day. We did so much walking. I was just prioritising getting ride shots in, not really going on the rides, because I thought Sunday, please tomorrow, please be so much better. And thankfully, it was. If you're hard of walking, please go down Haunted Hollow. No hills there. Don't bother with Katanga Canyon. It's just really not worth going up that way. Just go that way instead. There was a few more little tiny issues that I was not really made aware of when I was there. Bunker 94, which is the Nemesis shop, I did walk by it as we were leaving the park, because I was like, I really want to go in there. And then I saw, and there was nobody in there. So that opened in 2024 alongside Nemesis. They had a leak and they had to they had to wheel out all the merchandise out of there because it was leaking. That's so bad. Like, that's a newish building and it's leaking. And thankfully it was open the next day, because I was like, how am I going to get my Nemesis merch? I just really, I was looking at stuff and I was going, oh, I'll buy it tomorrow. But yeah, so that leaked. Another thing, this isn't really opening day, but this is I guess the review, of Alton Towers. We went to the roller coaster restaurant, and we all know roller coaster restaurant is so expensive. I ended up having a child's meal because it was so much money. But it was actually quite good, so I do recommend that. Get a child's meal. It was quite a good portion. I wasn't going to complain about it, and it was £9. But we were sat next to a table that was covered in water, the floor around it was covered in water because it was leaking from the rain. You spent that much money to be sat on a table that next to it is wet, and they were saying they actually told us there's a leak here, so be careful. It's so unprofessional. And I think that is the perfect word to describe Alton Towers at the moment, is unprofessional. Looking around the park, I was just trying to look at things that people don't really see. We were sat by Mine Train, every single person who was walking by was looking and going, oh, mine train, let's have a go on that, and then seeing the sign. I just feel like that wasn't really advertised very well, just to the normal, like, members of public, and not the people that research Alton Towers all the time, like us. But, you know, for them, it wasn't really advertised that it'd be shut. I saw as well, I saw a very old Coca-Cola can on the floor near Mine Train that is not from this year, sat there, and I was just like, are they not cleaned? Where's the cleaning? Where's this and where's that? There was just so many different things that just looked terrible. I mean, I did not go into David Williams, but I've seen videos of it. I think Sean mentioned it, of how bad it looks. And of course, as well, I have been through this before. David Williams has been cancelled for doing some quite bad things. They've not been looking after that place at all. I mean, there's no point in even going in there. Gangster Granny is a terrible ride, but I don't even know why it was there. But, like, the buildings are, like, the paintings coming off the buildings, it's just chipping, and it just looks awful. Tower Street is starting to show its age really badly. I'm pretty sure they painted the shop bit up though. That looks quite good. But, like, they've still got the windows with just random stuff in it. I was walking by the box office and they were showing, like, the photos. I'm pretty sure it's called the DigiPass. I never really looked into that because I don't really want the ride photos. But walking past that, I looked on the wall and had a picture of the ride photos, and it still had Nemesis just as Nemesis, not Reborn. It was the old Nemesis it was trying to promote. And I was like, ooh, we've had years of Nemesis Reborn. Why have they not changed that? There's just these little tiny things, like they did a few paths up, they did this and they did that. There's some more food carts out. Instead of it being in X Sector, there's 4 in Fountain Square, and then there's 1 in the stables in Mutiny Bay. But that's pretty good to see, you know. But the general maintenance of that park is just getting out of hand. I was watching Sean's video. I didn't really pay attention as I was walking through Forbidden Valley, but the roller coaster restaurant sign, it just says roller coaster rant instead of restaurant, and I was like, oh my god. Like, it just seems like they've not gone through anything and actually sorted it out. I know that before they would used to, like, paint things up, look after things, but now it just seems like it's going downhill. As well, Burger Kitchen's been shut, and I'm thinking that the inside of that, you know how I just said about Nemesis and how it's still got the old one, like, advertising it on that box office bit. Well, that whole place was full. Like, the vinyls on the walls had Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Whirling Toadstools on it, obviously Nemesis, like, really old attractions that have not been operating for God knows how long. So I'm hoping that Burger Kitchen's getting a little tiny bit of a refresh. I'm pretty sure it will be, because they can't still have that sort of thing on the wall, just because it's years old. Like, but that's so bad. Like, why haven't they done this stuff for opening day? Like, that is a very big food venue. I'm pretty sure that is the biggest one. And it did start raining and we had nowhere to go. Every single restaurant was so full of people. So we were kind of stuck. But this will let me easily digress onto the food. Of course, we know that the food has not changed in Alton Towers. We are still eating prison food from Aramark. Very sadly that we are. We went to Pizza and Pasta because of this new deal that they're doing in all Merlin parts. Any single pizza and pasta after 2 p.m, if you got a Merlin card, is £16.75. Which in my head I was like, you get the refillable drinks. It's a buffet. How bad can this be? And oh my god, I don't even know what I was getting into with these ideas. So we go in there. It's packed, and the woman on the till is like, "Oh, do you want to buy a drink?" And I was like, "Do I want to buy a drink? Where's my refillable fizzy drinks? Where's that gone? That's the only reason why I come in here." I was like, "No, don't you have it like a refillable?" She said, "No, it's juice." Juice? I'm not a 2-year-old. Juice? I'm not a 2. I was honestly about to throw hands at this. I was like, oh my god. So, yeah. So we were in there. No, it's juice. I was like, and this juice was disgusting, by the way. I wouldn't drink it. That was it. So where's my fizzy drink? That's the only reason why I come in here. I just wanted to like get loads of drinks. So in there, drinking my lovely fizzy drink at the buffet, and the food was disgusting. The table hadn't been cleaned. It was messy. There was kids everywhere screaming, which obviously is not their fault. That's a normal thing, I guess, now. But kids in there screaming, people waiting for food for so long, messy in there, and it was just... And normal price for an adult is £23. So if you're thinking of anywhere to go at Alton Towers to eat, just don't go anywhere because it's all terrible. But yeah, as I said, the second day we went into the roller coaster restaurant. I didn't think that was too bad. I wouldn't pay for the really extortionate prices though. Kids meal all the way. Especially not set next to a leak when he's paying that much money. I don't know what was going on. So yeah. And then, of course, as I said, the rides. Rides, other than the queue times, which was very much expected, it was so bad. Rides running reduced capacity as well. So, like, Galactica was only running one craft, which is what they call a train. So it was just running one train. We sat underneath Galactica and it took about 5 minutes for it to go round once. Like, sat there, I was like, where is Galactica? Like, I was just waiting for it to come round. And 5 minutes later, it come round and I was like, what? Then I heard people talking about it, and yeah, it's only on one train. Wicker Man. I love Wicker Man so much. Wicker Man's operations, usually you have 3 trains. So you'll have one coming out of the station going into the pre-drop, one coming back into the station from the break run, and one being filled up. But sadly, they were only running 2 trains. This completely messed up the entire ride. I don't know if anyone else experienced this at all, but waiting for that pre-show took about 10 minutes, stood in that horrible room with so many people in there, so many people screaming, so many people just, I don't know what they were doing, to be honest. It was very overstimulating. Like, if you have troubles with crowds, I would not go in there. It's such a bad environment. Like, it was just horrendous. And because that flow wasn't happening with all of the trains, we were just waiting for so long for all of this to happen. And I was just like, what are we doing here? So yeah, 2 trains on Wicker Man is a no-go. 3 trains only, and I don't know why they're running everything like reduce capacity. Get them trains on. Go, go, go. We also saw some new merchandise. I especially love the mine train, the little toy mine train. It's so cute. I've got it on the mantelpiece right now. That was probably one of the best things I've seen at Alton Towers. I had to buy one like straight away. It was like £12. There's also some really nice t-shirts, and they've actually got pictures of the rides on it. I love them so much. Mum bought me one for my birthday, of course. The Nemesis one. Oh, I can't wait to wear that. And then every single ride seems to have sunglasses. I don't know why they thought of sunglasses. I guess that's cool. I don't know. I need to look at them more. People, if anyone bought any, just let me know, because I want to see them. Like, I didn't really have that much of a look of them. Like, I thought the Nemesis one might have like veins on the side. You know, I don't know why Nemesis is just veins now, but I thought that would do. But it just literally says Nemesis on the side. That's so weird. Why? Who's ever asked for sunglasses? But the best piece of merch, I didn't get any, and I'm so sad. I don't know. I might get some next time. Curse Alton Manor earrings. Come on, Alton Towers. I'm just asking for earrings for every single ride. Come on, let's go. Produce them, make them. I'll be wearing them. My ears are they're bare because I can't find anything that I like. I would wear the hell out of them. Alton Towers, if you're listening, which you're probably not, I need earrings, please. There's girlies out here. Me, I need them. I do have a day 2 of Alton Towers coming out. I'm going to post this one first, and then that'll be coming tomorrow. So yeah, that was basically my opening day experience. First ever opening day. If you were there the Sunday, It was an amazing day, but the problem was the weather. So the first day, fantastic weather, awful ride offerings. Second day, awful weather, fantastic rides. So there you go. You can't get the best of both worlds, but we pushed through it. I got on so many rides on the Sunday, so much better. Let's just say it was teething problems, and please say we get better and better at Alton Towers. I love it so much. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.